Do you mind if I just dip into... I brought a little something. I have to do it about every 20 minutes. I do apologize.
What is it?
I have an eating thing I have to do.
Really?
Well, if you don't mind.
No, not at all. No.
Thank you. Oh, God.
What is your eating thing?
I have a tapeworm.
For real?
Yeah. It's about almost 4 feet. Have you ever had one?
You really do?
Yeah.
I never know with you, you know? I don't know if I should feel bad or start mocking you.
Well, you can do whatever. I didn't even want to bring it up.
I feel bad if it's true. You have a real tapeworm?
I do.
How'd you get it?
So Harland Williams just made his first appearance on JRE. You may remember him from such movies as Rocket Man, Half-Baked, and There's Something About Mary. For me, though, I'll always remember him from his feature film debut in Dumb and Dumber as the cop who drank the piss out of the beer bottle on the side of the road. As for his conversation with Rogan, it was in his characteristically offbeat style. He reminds me a lot of his fellow Canadian actor turned podcaster Tom Green. They both have a very similar style where you don't know where the trolling ends and the real conversation begins. Luckily for Rogan, though, eventually their hydrogen cells began to harmonize through the DNA synchronization process, and they ended up vibrating at the same frequency. But we'll get to that in a little bit because Harland pulled off one of the best trolls in JRE history. As you saw in the introduction, he convinced Rogan that he had a 4-foot tapeworm growing inside him that he discovered after a trip to the Galapagos Islands. He tells the story about this completely made-up species called the Bermuda eel rat, which evolved through Darwin's theory of evolution in Bermuda, and that's what gave him the tapeworm. But the gag isn't just that he has this fake tapeworm growing inside him, it's that he's become so attached to it and he doesn't want to kill it because it feels like his very own baby growing inside him. Now, I'm going to play for you guys the best bits from this epic troll on Rogan, but stick around because this whole episode of JRE was full of shit talking all the way through, and I've also managed to pull out a few more gags to show you guys where he tries to convince Rogan that he was attacked by a bear and a mountain lion, as well as a little compilation of Harland's jokes going over Rogan's head. Also, if you're new here and you ended up enjoying this breakdown, don't forget to become a subscriber, and if you're interested in seeing more of my videos without any copyright restrictions or censorship, you can check out the link in the description to my Patreon. Now, let's get back to this tapeworm, which he named Dimitri.
I don't even know if I should talk about this, but it's a little odd. I sort of got attached to the little fella.
Oh, you like having it now?
Well, we hear all this talk about, women and men can have babies. They're telling men they can have children.
So you got a little baby tapeworm.
Well, let's just say I have something living inside me. Sometimes I can feel it moving around. Sometimes I'll put a piece of cheese in the bed at night and it'll come out and I feel like I have a tail. I have to eat.
Celery.
Well, what it does, it reacts to the vibration of sound. And celery's kind of got the best kind of crunch, and it kind of settles the guy down. Well, if you're going to laugh. You have to do this about every 20 minutes.
I think you're going to a bad doctor. I think you're getting bad advice.
No, I just mean for me.
For you.
This is like a self-medicating.
Yeah, I think they can get rid of those things, man.
No, but what I'm saying, I've grown attached to Dimitri.
I understand.
So in Rogan's signature style, even though he's suspicious of Harland's tapeworm story, he still takes him literally at first, even though it's obvious that it's just a bit. And Harland keeps up the gag throughout the whole 2.5-hour episode. He kept offering Rogan celery on several occasions. The best part for me, though, was when Rogan started realizing the whole thing was made up, and so in an effort to keep it going, Harland tells Rogan one of the most bullshit stories you've ever heard.
Do you really have a tapeworm?
I do.
For real?
Yes. Please. Have you ever seen a Burmese python?
Yes.
I had a lady friend over, and I guess little Dimitri got jealous, and I woke up, all I heard was, and I looked over.
Her.
He was, unbelievable.
Wow. How are you laying?
We spoon upside down, so
the only thing that makes sense.
She uses my nose like a bicycle rack.
You have to come out.
It's not pretty, but he's my boy.
No, but for real. How long is it going to take to kill it?
Well, once you take those pills, you can kill it like within about 3 days.
And you're not taking the pills?
No, I feel like I have a boy inside me. Wow, wait a minute. Like a child.
Okay. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Have you seen? I want to see a photo of those bears. The bears that have it. It's so disgusting. It looks like enormous spaghetti.
So then, after Jamie pulls up bears with tapeworms hanging out of their asses, Harland moves on to his next gag, which was trying to convince Rogan that he was attacked by a grizzly bear. He clearly did his research on Joe. They've also known each other for a long time, so he knew that Rogan has a kink for bears, but the commitment to his jokes was second to none, and even Rogan admitted that at the end. And so he tells this story about how he was picking blueberries in a field when he was viciously attacked by a grizzly bear, which he miraculously managed to survive and live to tell the story on JRE.
So this was about 7 years ago. I'm up on a hill in Banff, out in Canada, in the Rocky Mountains. And I'm sitting there picking blueberries. And this behemoth comes flying over the hill.
So that was a grizzly bear.
It was a grizz. They roll and claw. And I've never done this, but
You are such a dork.
they fucking... What do you mean? Well...
Is that a real fucking tattoo? Let me see that again. Let me see that again.
The bear came a-lolloping over the mountain. And,
That tattoo belongs to a mechanic in Idaho, and you need to give it back to him. Is that
Sir.
the longest anyone's ever gone for a gag? That's the furthest anyone's ever gone. You actually got it tattooed on your chest.
well, hang on, guy. I'm trying to tell you, I got attacked by a grizz.
Yeah, I doubt he actually thought that was going to fly with Joe. He was clearly just trolling him for a laugh, but the next one was even worse. As well as being attacked by a grizzly bear, Harland also claimed to have been attacked by a mountain lion, another one of Rogan's favorite animals. But by the time he got to this, Rogan had fully realized that the whole conversation was one big joke, and so he started to relax a little bit and just go with it instead of ignoring all of Harland's gags, like I'll show you in a moment. And it didn't help that the dodgy makeup from the fake scars started to fall off while he was showing them to Joe and Jamie.
Now, a mountain lion, on the other hand, can I share something with you?
Does it involve another tattoo?
Well, no, the mountain lion,
What the is that?
he
Did you glue those on?
he
What the is wrong with
the mountain lion scrapes. He digs in with his claws. Can a guy have adventure stories in nature? Here's the scar.
It fell off. Hey, you're healing. You're healing.
Yeah.
Helping.
But here's where I talked to you earlier about learning Mandarin.
Seriously, this whole episode was almost completely devoid of segues. They would both just jump to the most random topics, and Rogan kept getting stuck and having to ask Jamie what they were talking about because Harland kept jumping in and trolling Joe randomly on every story he told. But Joe's known for not getting jokes from some of the best comedians in the world, which is ironic, seeing as he talks about stand-up comedy in almost every episode. Whether it's being part of the 1,000-strong elite stand-up comics in the world or reminiscing over how cool it is to hang out with comedians in the green room of his comedy club. Yet when he's sitting in the hot seat, he doesn't seem to be able to keep up with his comedian guests. People in the comments were getting annoyed at how many jokes were going over Joe's head as well. One of the best, I can't tell if he's kidding or not, comedians there is. Oh god, this is literally yin and yang. Joe has no idea when someone's joking and Harland never stops joking. Harland is the kindest, nicest, most polite troll. He plays dumb, but he's a step ahead of everyone. I like how Harland is trying his hardest to have a full nonsense conversation, and Joe keeps bringing it back to reality. Come on, Rogan, don't take everything literal and just enjoy what Harland does best. Harland Williams is too funny for Joe Rogan. He zooms through his jokes like they never happened. And my favourite comment out of all of them, shout out to this guy for not arresting Lloyd and Harry and ruining the trip. And so I put together a compilation of all the little bits and pieces where Rogan either completely ignored Harland's jokes because he was more interested in talking about bears or fish or lightning strikes, or he just plain didn't get the joke, and when he finally did get it, he had to pretend like he didn't hear it because it took him so long to get it.
Does that mean they're gay if it's a Pride Alliance, by the way?
No, Pride isn't always gay.
Okay, they look gay to me.
Pride didn't used to be gay. It used to be like you were proud of something.
One of them had their hair fluffed out. He looked pretty gay. John McCain, remember him? The politician?
He was a prisoner for years. His shoulders were all fucked up.
He couldn't put his arms down.
Yeah.
Like he was, I remember I went on a roller coaster with him once, and at the end of it, I was like, guy, it's done. And he was still.
That's how crazy Trump is. Trump made fun of him getting caught.
Yeah.
Is my cough button still busted, Jamie, or do you swap that out?
You okay?
It's going to be a pain in the ass to swap it.
We had a cough button. I don't think that's
There. It's working there, yeah.
Do you want to try?
No, it's just phlegm.
Well,
I'm good to go. I don't eat celery.
please, friend.
No, thank you.
Why?
I don't have any tapeworms, and I don't enjoy celery.
Well, can't you accept
I like it with
a
peanut
gift?
butter. Do you have any peanut butter? This motherfucker might have peanut butter.
How about a cauliflower?
No, that's not the same thing.
Well, it's got the same letters in it.
No. It doesn't have all of them. It's missing the B.
I thought you liked cauliflower.
No.
Well, now what am I going to do?
Just put it down.
Well,
What were we just talking about before that?
that's as big as any lightning strike you'll see coming out of the sky.
God damn, that's amazing.
Yeah. That looks
look
a
at the-
lot
all
like
the little-
Dimitri, I got to say.
All the little branches and this is all in slow motion. Look how quick those little branches flicker off in the corners and the sides.
That looks a lot like Dimitri's ultrasound, by the way.
I bet.
Yeah. Just so we're clear. A feather fell off of the bird when it flew out. So check this out.
You saved the feather.
Don't get ahead of me. I have a lot of friends in the science community. I know a bunch of Scientologists, and I had them analyze this. Pigeon flew out. Here.
I'm good.
This is a feather from a great auk. Please.
That's okay. Just put it down.
Well, I think you'd like to touch it.
Nope. I'm good.
I had been eating a bacon sandwich and spilled some on my lap and went swimming, and that thing sucked me for about an hour and a half.
Look at the top of its head.
Well, someone's not paying attention.
I'm paying attention.
Well, I had a sexual assault, and you glazed right
I
over
didn't
it.
believe you. I was at an airport with my friend Tate, and I had these little pimples on my calf. And he
God.
goes, hey, what is that on your calf? I go, I don't know, it's nothing. So immediately I went to a dermatologist, and he's like, yeah, it looks like staph. And he put me on antibiotics before they even got the results of the test back.
He put you on it, not your cow?
My cow.
I thought you said your calf.
Calf, like leg. The part of your
All
leg.
Sorry,
That one.
guy.
That one, you really went out there with that one.
So the strange thing is, for me at least, I actually don't mind this dynamic where Rogan has no idea what the fuck is going on and his guest is just rolling through the jokes without him noticing. It makes it so much more interesting to watch because you can tell Rogan's kind of nervous. Whenever he's with one of his close friends like Duncan Trussell the other day, Joe will just laugh at anything he says, and it kind of gets boring after a while, especially when Rogan laughs hysterically at bits that aren't actually funny. But with guys like Theo Von, Tim Dillon, Shane Gillis, and here with Harland Williams, the awkwardness is what makes it funny for me. Otherwise, it just ends up becoming a fart-sniffing exercise that gets boring real quick. As for the tapeworm, though, it had a happy ending. After Rogan spilt coffee all over his white t-shirt, Harland decided to pull Dimitri out of his ass and hand it to Rogan as a trophy for sitting through 2.5 hours with him.
It was my first movie, and it was like,
Oh, no.
oh no.
Spilled coffee on
Do
my
you want
white
some
shirt.
celery?
Does that help? I think it just makes it...
If you rub it.
Jamie, tuck me those paper towels.
What is that, tea?
No, coffee. Yeah, I mean, we're lucky as fuck, dude. We're lucky that we get to do this for a living, and you and I have been doing it for so fucking long.
Jesus, I'm sorry.
What are you doing to your dick?
No, it's just...
What are you doing over there?
God,
Are you pulling your tapeworm out? Son of a bitch. You're
Dimitri.
preparing. You
God.
did more preparation
Joe.
for this show.
Joe, it's Dimitri.
You're such a sick fuck. You send you back to Canada for what you've done to me. So stupid. You had to see It's warm.
It's been in my
warm.
groin for 2 hours.
He had this in his pants.
You
the
won't
entire
touch
time.
the cauliflower this summer. You'll touch my groin more.
I'm not into plants, but I really like snake. Harland Williams, you're the fucking man. I love you to death.
Yeah, this episode was awesome. I think it was one of the top 5 so far this year. Rogan should try to get different comedians on instead of the same rotation of Mothership regulars. Having said that, since coming back to YouTube, I definitely think that his guests have improved for the most part. People are still talking about Terrence Howard in the comment sections of every podcast since he was on, so hopefully he gets him back on with a couple of other people for an epic debate. But he still seems to struggle when he has comedians on. For example, Sebastian Maniscalco was on a couple of weeks ago, and it was so boring. I mean, how on earth you have Sebastian on and end up talking about ice baths and saunas, magnesium foot spray and vitamin IVs is completely beyond me. Even Andrew Schultz managed to get a decent interview out of Sebastian at the end of last year, but Rogan's was dead from the word go. That's why having looser comedians like Harland Williams is so good, because they don't take themselves as seriously, and eventually when Rogan starts to relax and get into it, it ends up being an awesome conversation. But it's not all rainbows and sunshine for Rogan at the moment. The company behind the supplement Alpha Brain, which Rogan helped to develop, is being sued for false and misleading marketing. Basically, Rogan was the front guy for the company and promoted it across social media as well as on his podcast, but now there's a class action from New York claiming that the studies that were done on Alpha Brain don't support the conclusions that the company and Rogan have been using to promote the supplement publicly, so now they're being sued for millions of dollars. If you want the full breakdown of all the legal documentation and the background, head over to my Patreon via the link in the description and check out my video from earlier this week covering all of those details. But as for today, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you're not a regular of this channel yet, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you ended up enjoying this video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.